Connect with us. Your TV, truly local.
Coming up on this edition of Cogeco News, severe damage on the weekend due to a garage fire. The shacks are out, ice fishing season is underway, and good and not so good for the battalion on the long weekend. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of Cogeco News. Happy New Year. I'm Greg Estabrooks. Well, damage is pegged at about $75,000 after a garage fire in very chilly conditions for fire crews to work on New Year's Eve at about 10 o'clock on Circle Lake Road. Standing by live outside of Fire Station number 1 is our Clark Heipel, who is here to provide more details on the fire. Clark?
Well, thank you, Greg. Yes, about 14 hours after the initial fire call came through, a cause was believed to be determined by the North Bay Fire Department. The charging of a battery. Yes, that battery was being charged within the garage, and as we learned from the North Bay Fire Department, things could have been a heck of a lot worse. Flames, a large propane tank stored adjacent to the structure. The North Bay Fire Department responded just before 9:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve. They encountered the 24 by 24 foot detached garage fully engulfed. They reported a high fuel load with a vehicle inside the garage. The good news is that this fire did not spread to adjacent structures and no one was injured. The following day, Fire Chief Jason Whiteley wanted to convey fire safety tips surrounding the charging of batteries believed to be the cause of this blaze.
Suspecting is that possibly the battery charger failed and shot too much current through it, which they're not supposed to. They're supposed to be designed to automatically shut off in a fail-safe mode, or something else has happened during the process that would just created a flame and a fuel source and got the garage going.
So people at home likely wondering, can I trust my charger to charge my battery without starting a fire?
Well, the first thing you got to ensure is that you're buying a charger that is certified or approved. So what you want to look for on it is UL, which is Underwriters Laboratory, or ULC, Underwriters Laboratory Canada, or CSA approved a charger. If you're buying, something that is not approved, then you're running the risk that it doesn't meet the safety standards that we expect in Canada.
There is a potentially dangerous byproduct to charging batteries.
Is you create hydrogen gas and it will off gas. So you want to, if you're going to be charging a battery, make sure that it's in a wide open spot, with no combustibles near it or no energy sources or spark sources. Make sure it's well ventilated. When you're going to charge a battery, when you place the cables on, make sure that the cables, the charger's unplugged so there's no energy source, again minimizing spark. Put the positive on first, then the negative, and then the reverse when taking it off.
By an eerie coincidence, also on New Year's Eve, an area resident reported a battery charger that failed, which could have produced a fire.
What appears to have happened with this cord is that most of these are supposed to have a voltage regulator, so you don't send too much voltage through it. Obviously, it looks like the voltage regulator has failed in this one, sending the full current from your wall, so 110 volts out, and this burnt within seconds of plugging it in, and you can see that all the sheathing started to ignite and melt off. So you were sending full current through this. These are actually, and this is a certified one, so I'm actually sending this one into the fire marshal's office to be investigated and letting CSA know about it. But these are designed that if there's any type of problem or short circuit, they're supposed to fail safe so you don't have the current flow through it.
So in this case, this person would have plugged it in, and luckily they saw it happening before something caught fire.
Yeah, it happened so quickly that when they turned around, they put the cables on, plugged it in, went to check the machine to make sure that it was charging, and turned around and the cables were smoking. They were charging a snowmobile battery at the time, so luckily it happened so quickly that they didn't leave the building, and this happened later.
Stay tuned to Cogeco News, as in the coming weeks we will have regular fire safety tips from the North Bay Fire Department.
Well, Greg, as you were mentioning, the temperatures played a factor in the firefighters' response. They had to have a lot of layers on. It was extremely cold on New Year's Eve, and the temperature certainly playing a factor in battery life. Battery life drastically reduced in these bitterly cold temperatures, thus the need for people to charge them with these automatic chargers. Back to Greg Estabrooks in the studio.
Thank you, Clark, for that. Families First went on